Whew. Hey, good evening, everybody out there in social media land on YouTube and Facebook. It's Candace back here, back with another video. In this video, I'm going to be going over a open and very, very new case out of the city of Detroit, Michigan. Y'all got to excuse me. I am doing some chores in the background or whatever. And I wasn't really planning on going live today, but I decided to go ahead and probably be on here for like an hour and cover what I do know, what I did research about this case, possibly have an open panel or whatever. One of these days, once more information unravels, because I have been coming across different articles that's been saying different things, and I know for sure that the mainstream media, they cannot post like hearsay, lies, gossip, anything like that. So I have been hearing like different things. So if you haven't heard, and I'm gonna pull this article up, so I got it in my email. I got this thing in my email. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Okay. So I had two emails. I'm just going to read this one here. So this article is from People's Magazine. It says, mother of two children who likely froze to death in van says, it took two of my kids to die to get help. And that is sad. And when I first came across this case, whenever I come across a new case, I really don't know what to think or anything like that, because again, like I say in all my videos, the case is so new and so fresh, you don't really know what's what, and it's always a lot of gossip circulating around these cases. um so you really have to either dig for the truth or wait for the truth to come out. So give me a minute, I'm gonna read this article to y'all, but I need to set a timer, because I wasn't planning on being on here tonight, and I ain't planning on being on here too long. I just wanted to do this live and have something that I could come back to, so I know, like, if it's new developments, at least I can remember what I already knew. Because I do a lot in my life, so, it's easy for me to get absent minded or forget things. So, anyways, it says Tatiana Williams says she contacted homeless services in different cities and states but did not get help before her children, Darnell 9 and Amelia, I believe it's Amelia, age 2, died. Tatiana Williams is speaking out after two of her children died while sleeping in a van at Detroit parking garage. According to the Detroit Police Department, the incident occurred on Monday, February 10th. So let me write that down because we need to make our timeline. Monday, February 10th, on the ninth floor of the Hollywood Casino parking garage, where the family was seeking shelter inside a van. At the time, temperatures were below 32 degrees. Okay, some people are saying the temperatures was below 32 degrees. Other articles are saying that the temperature around that time was in the teens in Detroit. Williams, 29, told People in an exclusive interview that the deceased are her children, Darnell Curry Jr., age 9, and Amelia Curry, age 2. The other adult in the van was Williams' mother, Yvette Goodman, 48. Four of the children, including the two who died, belonged to Tatiana, while the fifth was um, her mother, Yvette's son. Williams spoke to People alongside Detroit Board of Police Commissioner Tamara Liberty Smith, who is also the director of Detroit Community Outreach, a transitional housing service. Williams was referred to on that Monday evening or whatever. So she was referred to this. I guess it's a weird name. It names Detroit twice in this title. That's why I'm so like confused, or I'm so it's called Detroit Power Detroit Community Outreach. I don't know why it names it twice. I don't know if that's a typo with the article or what, but it names it. It's a weird name. So, anyways, at the press conference on Tuesday, February 11th, I'm writing all this stuff down, y'all. As this case is so fresh for me, I haven't even studied it. I was tied up with other things like Donald Trump and dead fisheye Eli Musk in a press conference when I came across this. So on February 11th, during a press conference, interim Detroit Police Chief Todd Bettison said that even before Williams, whom he did not identify by name, realized that her 9-year-old son wasn't breathing, she had already called a friend, another close relative, to help because their vehicle had stopped at some point in the night. Allegedly, some people saying she ran out of gas because she was running the heat, trying to keep everybody warm. Williams told people that when she woke up, she saw stuff coming out of Darnell's mouth, then had him rushed to the hospital. They really couldn't do much because I guess it was too late, she said. Williams said that her mother, who initially stayed behind, then realized that the 2-year-old wasn't breathing, and the friend returned to take them to the hospital as well. Authorities who were in communication with the family said that they later notified the hospital that the two children had died. Although it will be up to the medical examiner to determine the official cause of death, police said that right now it appears to be exposure to hypothermia. Now, I'm curious because they're saying right now the children passed away from hypothermia. And again, y'all gonna have to go along with me and brainstorm with me because this case is so fresh. I haven't had time to get all my notes together, nothing. So hypothermia, one child was 9, the other child was 2. The one thing that I can tell y'all about hypothermia, um, being that when I was about 18, I had been in a car accident. The car went in the river during a blizzard. It was only 10 degrees out, y'all, when this car went in the river. I'm kind of curious because things like hypothermia don't just happen suddenly, right? So they're saying in some articles again that it was below 32 degrees. In other articles, they're saying that the temperature was in the teens. Okay, so everybody knows any human being can walk out of their house, whether you got a coat on or not. With a coat on, you probably last a little longer, but with a coat off, you're gonna lose heat, but you'll still be like, you're not gonna just immediately drop dead once you go outside without a coat. Um, during this weather. You're gonna be hella cold, but I'm thinking because usually when things like hypothermia and things happen, they usually have a certain specific amount of symptoms that go along with them. You see what I'm saying? So I'm wondering actually like how long were they out in the cold that night, or how long was it before the car turned off and the kids started experiencing symptoms of hypothermia? I'm so curious about that, especially because like for example, like in my situation, being in a car that was sinking in a river in 10-degree weather, um and I was older. I was like 18 when that happened. um Obviously you're gonna get cold a lot quicker because it's wet out or whatever, but even in that situation I was still alive, like after maybe an hour in the river, icy cold water, with coat on and everything. I don't know, y'all. I ain't trying to, I'm just brainstorming out loud. I'm just brainstorming out loud. Don't mind me. They're still waiting on the autopsy and things to come back on that. Because I'm wondering like how long, like, did she notice anything like with the kids' behavior? Were they acting different? Were they acting strange before they went into shock? You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That's just my medical mind taking over. Don't mind me. So, anyways, let me go back to reading this article. It says the investigation is ongoing, and according to Bettison and Williams, the mother confirmed that 3 surviving children are with other relatives. Okay, so Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan, or Dugan, who is also at the February 11th press conference, said that the heartbreaking part of this is that there were family shelter beds available just a few miles away, and that the family had contacted the city's homeless response team multiple times. Most recently on November 20th. Hold on. So if the kids died February 10th, let me read this over. Let me make sure I understand this correctly. So the Detroit Mayor Mike Dugan, who was also at the February 11th news press conference, said that the heartbreaking part of this is that there were family shelter beds available just a few miles away, and that the family had contacted the city's homeless response team multiple times, most recently on November 25th of 2024. So I'm wondering, did she ever contact the people like the night or at least the week of, February 10th? That's what I'm wondering, because it's saying in this article the last time that she contacted homeless shelters was November 25th of 2024. We're going to leave that there. And let me put this disclaimer out there. I'm not here to really be on the side of the mother or the father. I'm really on the side of the children. I don't really place blame on the mother per se in this situation or the father per se in this situation, because when I researched this case, it's sounding to me like it's a societal issue. Okay, it sounded to me like this is a societal issue that anybody could be in. A lot of Americans live either at or below the poverty level. They cannot get by without government assistance and things like that. And don't get me wrong, if you need it, you need it. I'm not judging anybody, I'm just stating the facts. Anything could happen, a medical emergency, and we all could be in the place of Tatiana and her children. So I just, because I've been reading and researching these last few hours today on this case, and a lot of people are wanting to place the blame on her, place the blame on him. And don't worry, I'm going to give y'all my opinions on both a little later on. But overall, it is a societal issue. Okay, rent has been going up, especially post COVID. Rent has been going up. The cost of eggs, y'all. I don't buy eggs by the dozen. I buy them 5 dozen at a time. So because I'm a baker, so I can tell you, like, when I used to go in Walmart as far back as 2020 or 2021, when I used to go to Walmart, y'all, and buy my 60 count eggs. 60 count eggs back in 2020 and 2021 used to range from $4 to $7, depending on the location, depending on where you went. They would go from $4 to $7. Here in just a mere 5 years later, in 2025, 60 count eggs are almost $25. Okay? So the cost of living is going up. And with the cost of living, you have more and more families struggling to keep food on the table. You have more and more families struggling to pay this high ass rent that they got, depending on where you live. Like, even when I was down in Texas, Texas was being inhabited and almost taken over, literally taken over, rather, not almost, by so many Californians, because Californians cannot afford California anymore. So they are taking over Texas and driving up the cost of living in Texas. Like, Texas was already high. Texas already seemed high for somebody like me who is from the Midwest. You have all these Californians going there, and they're driving the cost of living further up. Okay, so when I was in Texas, I had to leave Texas. I had to come back to the Midwest because the cost of living down there is outrageous. And it's what I always describe Texas, Dallas, Texas specifically, as a shark tank. I always say it's a shark tank. You have to kill or be killed to survive down there. And I wasn't willing to put in that kind of work. But anyways, overall, I see this as a societal issue. Like, society is failing the least of us. Really, that's what it is. You know, so let me go back to reading this article again where we left off. We left off at the part where the article said that most recently, pay attention to the wording, y'all. It said most recently, Williams allegedly last contacted It's called I believe it's like some type of home. It's called a homeless response team. She last contacted them allegedly November 25th of 2024. Okay, so I wrote that day down. We have to keep up with the timeline. Okay, and it goes on to say, in the course of that conversation, there was no resolution reached on where they would go, said Dugan. And one of the things when you call our homeless service folks is that if it's an emergency situation, we send out one of these outreach workers. For whatever reason, this wasn't deemed as an emergency that caused an outreach worker to visit the family. So again, the city, the state, the politicians, they take part of the blame, in my opinion, for this. Because he's saying right here, you got the mayor, Dugan, saying right here that they didn't deem this an emergency. And I guess they're going to investigate and find out why this situation with a mother, a grandmother, and children in a van during extreme cold season, which is winter. Winter is like one of the most hellish seasons ever up north to be outside. Down south, I understand it's y'all summers, but up here it's the winters. I don't understand why this wasn't deemed an emergency and they didn't get her emergency shelter. Okay. Okay. The mayor went on to add that based on what authorities could determine at the time, the family never called back for service. Okay, so that's the reason why, because it's some, for those of you who don't know, who's been keeping up with the story or whatever, allegedly the mother has been detained or picked up or is getting investigated by the law or whatever, and it's because of from what they're investigating, the timeline of when she was calling for help. They trying to hold her accountable for that. Me personally, I feel like if she lost two kids, she be square with the house. She gonna go through hell, just grieving as a mother and going through the rest of her life getting over this. Um, you know, but we gonna get to all that, y'all. Let me not get too far ahead of myself. So again, he had basically determined that November 25th, 2024 was the last time they reached out for help. But in her interview with People, they're referring to the mother, Williams said that she kept calling homeless services after November 25th. So if you got the mayor saying, and special investigators saying that the last time they heard of her calling and asking for shelter, November 25th. Okay, and she's saying that she was calling even after that, which I believe her. I do. I believe her, but that sort of thing has to be proven in court. Okay, and because they're saying she wasn't calling no more after November 25th, and the kids passed away on Monday, the February 10th of this year. Okay, so she told People magazine that she kept calling. She called out of state. She called cities out of state. She called different states. She said she asked Detroit for help, and they still would say when I called that they didn't have no beds. But it took two of my kids to die for them to want to help. And that's what's crazy. This is like the same story, different characters for me. You see this a lot. You see this a lot where people are asking and begging for help and they do not get help until something crazy happens, and then everybody want to wake up and reach out. It's sad that the world is set up like this. The mother, Williams, called Detroit Homeless Services on November 25th, and they told her no beds were available, but they would let her know when one did. They never did, she told People. Okay, Smith explained to People that Williams and her family had a unique situation because shelters would have to make special accommodations for the family. Smith said Williams and her family are staying at Detroit Power, Detroit Community Outreach. I'm just gonna say Detroit one damn time because this title of this place, it has Detroit mentioned twice and it's throwing me off. They basically was staying at a community outreach center in Detroit, okay? Because it's messing me up. It's an independently owned shelter. In his news conference, the mayor called Deputy Mayor Melia Howard and the Housing and Revitalization Department Director Julie Snyder to furnish a review about this case within 2 weeks, because they know, if they know that they could be partially held accountable for this woman and her children and what they went through in these children deaths. like think about it like this, y'all. It say, for example, the mayor and politicians could not be held accountable for nothing with this case. She just probably would have had a CPS case, and CPS would have took it from there, and we would have never heard of this at all. It would have never made the papers. It wouldn't be spreading around crazy on social media. But because the mayor could be, face charges or be sued or be brought up in a civil lawsuit or whatever by this woman, they have to get involved. They have to investigate. You know what I'm saying? They have to, because children have been found dead. So that's why early on in this live, I kept on saying this is a societal issue. Because now it's gonna raise questions on like why is the cost of living going up? Why can't anybody afford their rent? Why is they gonna start asking questions, and they gonna start investigating like where is this money going? Because it's obviously not going to the people who need it. It's not. And in my opinion, we got two maniacs in office, because Trump, I don't really feel like he's running the office. I feel like he being controlled by dead fisheye Elon. We got two maniacs in office who are cutting off benefits, government benefits that go towards family like hers, right and left. So, anyways, Darnell Curry, which you see on the screen, you see Tatiana Williams on the screen, which is the mother, and you see Darnell Curry on the screen. So this case has gained traction, y'all, because Darnell Curry, allegedly Williams, which is the mother, she claimed that she reached out to Darnell. Tatiana claimed she reached out to Darnell, and she said that she had been telling him, hey, I'm homeless, you need to come get your kids. And I'm gonna just play them news clipping, and I'm gonna go get some water because my sinus is acting up. Okay, and I'm a little bit all over the place. So let me find the news clippings, and then I'm gonna show y'all everything else that I found on this case. Because it's crazy. I got a few things to say overall, and this is an open panel live, y'all. This is not a normal live for me. It's an open panel live. So if you want me to drop the link and you want to come up and say some things, that's fine. I just ask that it be no cussing, because y'all know some of the bots can go crazy on some of these sites, and I don't want to get the live taken down. So let's watch this video. I'm homeless. I done kept a room this long. I couldn't keep it no more. Let me get some water. Never homeless. Had Tatiana ever reached out asking to? No, she did not. Lord, she still cannot get them. Cannot get them. Just to get them, and cannot get them because y'all homeless. That's two different things. She said she had been homeless for 3 months. See, I saw it. That's what I saw, about 3 months. But she ain't never said nothing to me. Nothing. So all them other sob stories, they can cut all that. No, she did not. Curry, who lives in Novi, says Williams never specified why she wanted to drop their kids off to him. She just asked, can I get them for a couple of days? But I told her I'm working and all that, and I'm out here. We're not close to each other, so I couldn't. But she knows all my family is right. Links. She says she reached out to Curry, who's the father of 3 of her children. I asked him, I said, can you get your kids for me? I said, I need help. I'm homeless. I done kept a room this long. I couldn't keep it no more. They were homeless. Had Tatiana ever reached out asking to? No, she did not. Lord, she said, can I get them? Can I get them? Just to get them, and can I get them because y'all homeless? That's two different things. She said she had been homeless for 3 months. See? Okay. Sorry, y'all. I was up getting my water. So that's the father of the 9-year-old boy and the 2-year-old girl speaking. He's basically saying the mother didn't specify, hey, do you want me to just get them, or is it because you're homeless that you want me to get? He never, basically, what he's saying is she never told him she was homeless and she was in a desperate place and needed him to get his kids. So this is my take on this situation so far, because I am still investigating it, and I will come back and with better receipts. I'm still trying to find the next of kin and everything like that. So, because everybody's going back and forth, some people are blaming her, some people are blaming him. It's not two people who are looking at this situation with a 360-degree lens. They're not looking at it like that and saying, hey, this situation is bigger than y'all. Some of these situations are socially engineered to happen how they're happening. I'm not excusing him. I'm not excusing her. I'm just saying, number one, y'all need to face the big picture and realize this is happening all over America, and it's happening because again, you have certain programs that are being eliminated, and you don't have funds going where they need to go to help people like Tatiana. Okay, and I really get tired of the excuses that politicians make that they don't have the money, they don't have the resources for this type of thing. But when you break down, when we research and we break down where money is really going, they got all this money for immigrants and for people coming over here in the house, immigrants, and give them food stamps or whatever. But our own American citizens, we don't have nothing for them. That don't make sense to me, y'all. So again, you heard what he said, so let me break down basically what he's saying. And my heart goes out to both the parents. I understand the father is catching a lot of slack right now. I'm not advocating for him, I'm not advocating for her. I feel most sorry and most compassion towards those children. Okay. So let me break down what he was basically saying in that interview. Because he's saying, okay, she just would call me and say, get the kids. She would never call me and say, hey, you need to get the kids because I'm homeless. Basically, what he's doing is he's thwarting the idea that people are trying to hold him accountable and say, oh, well, you knew she was homeless. He's basically saying, well, I didn't know she was homeless, and y'all not gonna put that on my conscience that she was homeless or whatever. I didn't know, and she didn't, which it is no excuse. If somebody is calling you and telling you you need to come get your kids, you need to come get your kids or whatever. These kids allegedly was living in this van with their mother and their grandmother for 3 months, y'all. And he claimed, he told the news reporter out of his own mouth, he said, well, he gonna miss FaceTiming with his kids. Oh, so you're a Facebook father, basically. You're a Facebook father. You wasn't over there, with the kids. You didn't have a daily relationship with them. You didn't go over there every day and physically see the kids or whatever. And one of the things that's really annoying me about this case is a lot of men are infantizing this man. A lot of black men, they do that a lot too. I'ma say it because everybody else be scared to say it, but I'ma say it. A lot of black men um will, it's like they coddle other black men. I don't even really know how to say it. They coddle other black men, they infantize other black men, and they don't really hold them accountable. Okay. So for example, I was going back and forth in somebody's comment section, and somebody was saying, this guy was saying, oh well, he's not responsible because he had a job and other things to do. And I told him, I said, well, I, as a mother, as a mother, a single mother at that, I have never been in a position where I had a job. And for example, say the school called me and the school needed me to come get my child, and it was an emergency. And I said, oh, well, I have to work and I have other things to do. I've never said that. The child always comes first. So he really doesn't have any excuse. But it just irks my nerves how a lot of men they're trying to basically infantize this man and coddle him and say, oh well, he's not responsible, the mother is responsible. Or I see a lot of black men saying, oh, y'all trying to make her a victim. I'm not trying to make her a victim. And everybody who I know who's come across this case, basically what they've been saying about it is he could have got his kids. Nobody's saying that he had to house the baby mama. Nobody's saying that he had to come in like a knight in shining armor to come get the baby mama. Everybody is saying that he should have got his children. If you know they are in that situation, they ain't got nowhere to go. I mean, hell, he said he was at the gym. You can have a gym membership or whatever. You more concerned with your gym membership and being at the gym than your children, and they ain't got no roof in the head over their head. That's a problem for me, y'all. But again, let me say something as a black woman, especially. They'll swear up and down, oh well, you must be bitter. You must be Who hurt you? You got daddy issues. That's what get on my nerves about cases like this. The who got daddy issues. I ain't got no daddy issues. I had my father growing up, and he was a very good father, and that's why I know the difference between real black men and bummy cruddies who run around here and they pretend to be real black men, but their actions just don't line up. Okay, so he don't get no pass in this book. The only thing I could say I would do if I was Tatiana, which is scary, and I was going back and forth with a couple people about it, but you have to think of things in a with critical thinking, because we're not in her shoes, and everybody would like to say what they would do if they were in her situation, but unless you've been in a situation like this, you really can't say what you would do. Me personally, I know for a fact because I was in a situation like hers, and it is scary. You are tired, you are stressed out, you are always worried about your children and being there for them and providing for them, or sometimes you even feel like you failed them. Being in a situation like hers, it's not easy. You feel like a outcast in society when you in this situation. You feel sometimes you feel like even God abandoned you. Being homeless is a hard situation. Okay. And I suggested this, but a lot of people, they didn't take it the right way. Okay, they didn't take it the right way. So I suggested, because a lot of people don't know that CPS has social workers. Damn near everybody who work for CPS is a social worker, and a lot of those social workers, they're not always, well, most of them are not trained to just go up in there and just snatch your kids from you. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that CPS will go after deadbeat parents, non-custodials who owe you child support. They will go after them, okay, and hold them accountable or whatever. CPS will help you find housing and daycare. Okay, CPS will help you with clothing and furniture and things like that. So if I know that my options is my kids sleep in this very, very cold van or whatever during the dead of the winter, one of the hardest seasons of the year, especially in the Midwest, versus them being safe, being warm somewhere, and it's hard. I get it. It's hard, but I would rather have my kids, in a with a roof over their head. Even if it is CPS, hell, when you in that situation, you desperate any damn way. And me personally, I'm not saying she should have did this. I'm saying this is what I would have done. I would have most definitely handed my kids over and told them, hell, you know what, whatever hoops I gotta jump through, if I gotta do the fucking parenting classes, if I gotta, because at the end of it, they do help with housing, they do help with daycare. I knew a lot of women, I came across a lot of women, not only in Texas, but in Dallas, who were homeless, and especially in Dallas, Texas, not necessarily in Kentucky, but Dallas, Texas, when you were in their homeless shelters. I think one of the mothers that I met, I think she said she was in a homeless shelter down there, and they helped her, like she got Section 8 in like 3 months down in I don't know which county she was in, because Dallas is made up of like 7 or 8 counties, but she got housing very quick down there. Being in a homeless shelter or whatever. But CPS, y'all, helps with that stuff as well. I used to meet people all the time in Cincinnati, Ohio, in Kentucky. I don't know if y'all know, but Lexington, Kentucky, and Cincinnati, they're not that far from each other. And I used to go to both cities. But I used to meet women who would say, "Oh, Candace, I purposely called those people on me on purpose because they help with furniture. They help with furniture. They help with these resources. They help you with daycare services. You won't be on the waiting list with them. They just immediately get you a voucher. You know what I'm saying? If it takes you doing that to get your kids off the streets, I'm saying for me, I would have done that. So, because at the end of it, it's a light at the tunnel, and me and my kids is gonna be off the streets, or whatever. That's what I'm looking at, and I don't think nobody was looking at it like that. People were saying, "Oh well, well, what about this and her kids is dead and gone, y'all." Are we not understanding that? What part of that don't we get? Her kids is dead and gone. I'm pretty sure if she could reverse the hands of time, and if God placed in front of her two options, do you want your children to be able to be alive and well, or do you want them deceased and just go through this process with social services to get them out of this van and get them out? I'm sure she would have went with the plan that I had. It's sad because don't nobody want to do that. Don't nobody want to be plagued with no CPS case and looked at as an unfit parent. But in this situation, both of them was unfit. Allegedly, he was staying with his girlfriend, and she was sleeping in the van with her own mother, with five other children. I believe four of them was hers, and one of them was her sibling. So the situation is unfit. I'm not saying she's unfit, like she's abusive towards the children or whatever, but it's a lot of different stuff floating around. So I really didn't want to cover this case because not this early, because it's so much different stuff floating around. Plus, I've been trying to get a hold of people in the DMs because I got people telling me like, um, for example, they're saying, "Oh, well, Candace, like the whole story is not out yet." They're defending the daddy, like, "Oh my God, the whole story ain't out yet. You don't really know all the facts." And when I asked them, "Hey, what's the facts?" You can DM me the facts, so we all know the facts because he got on the news by himself. Nobody forced him to get on the news and tell that news anchor, "Hey, she should have specified why she wanted me to pick up my kids." Like, and I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's just crazy to me how these dudes, they want you to walk a tightrope just for them to step in and help with their own children. I got all the pictures of him and his girlfriend like going out to parties. He getting a girlfriend gifts allegedly from the pictures that was shared with me. They going, he's celebrating her graduation, him and the girlfriend working out together. I got all the pictures. He even started a GoFundMe, y'all. He even started a GoFundMe in them kids' names. He's disgusting in my opinion. He started a GoFundMe in them kids' names or whatever, trying to raise money. But allegedly, their funerals is already paid for. So everybody's questioning this dad, like, why did you start this GoFundMe when you wasn't trying to help get these kids off the street? And not only that, but their funerals are already going to be paid for. A lot of funeral homes do that, y'all. I'm just gonna throw that out there. If it's a child that died or whatever, a lot of funerals will most likely do the funeral for free for children. They'll do that for children for free. But anyways, he has a GoFundMe going on or whatever. He's already raised like $400. Where's this money going to and why? The mother has a separate GoFundMe. I will post his GoFundMe information. When I know more, I'll probably do a live again on this video on this case next week. Because right now, y'all, I'm real mixed up. I don't know what to believe and what not to believe. It's so much stuff going around. It's people attacking this mother. I mean, if she's homeless and she reached out and she asked the father for help, what the hell else do y'all want her to do? For real. Like the only other thing that I could think of, and this is only like a desperate times come to desperate measures type of thing. I would have went to CPS. And that's only because hell, I need to get my kids off the streets. It ain't because I like dealing with them people or I think they're a great option. No, I'm desperate. I don't want my kids in this below zero freezing weather, in my van. I need y'all help. Y'all at least take the kids so I can go and grind and save up some money and get us somewhere to go. But again, this is a sign of the times. What's going on with this case? This is a sign of the times, and I believe sooner or later we gonna have more cases just like this one. Okay, especially in the Black and brown communities, you gonna have a lot more cases like this because it is bigger than Tatiana. Okay, it's bigger than Detroit. This is an American issue that when you boil it all down, it has everything to do with the government and society and the rise of the cost of living. Even groceries are going up, rent is going up. Some of this rent you pay it and you ain't got enough to do nothing but slave and keep paying rent. Who wants to live their life like that? You see a lot of people on TikTok and Instagram and they're going live and showing how they're rehabbing buses and living in their cars and just showering at the gym now because the cost of living is so high nowadays or whatever. And I couldn't imagine, being homeless with two children. You know what I'm saying? And especially in a time and a climate where, like I said on my Facebook post when I covered this, I privatized the post right now until I get more information about this case. I had to privatize that post, but the post was basically saying these men, some of them, they get on Facebook, they get on different social media sites, and they talk about, oh, well, if the mama can't take care of the kids, just hand them over to the daddy. This is a case where she tried to do that. And I've been stressing this for the last, I don't know how many, up 10 years, that sometimes these mothers do try to hand over custody to these fathers. And these fathers will still find dumb excuses why they cannot be there for their children. Okay? When are we going to talk about the elephant in the room? Most of these men do not want to take care of their own children. Okay, somebody in the TikTok that I seen recently was like, okay, well, maybe he had a grudge against her, and that's why he didn't want to take care of the children. Sometimes that is the cause of it. The father just has a grudge, and he don't want nothing to do with the children because the children are connected with the mother. But sometimes it's because he has no emotional connection with those children. So in this case, I feel like he don't have any emotional connection with that mother. I feel like he had moved on with his life. Those kids and that woman was a thing of the past. I don't necessarily feel like he hated her, but even when he was talking to the news anchor, he did seem like he had came off a little cold-hearted towards the mother. I will say that. Talking about she could just save that sob story. What the fuck are you talking about, dipshit? She just lost her children in the most horrific way that any mother could have lost a child. And you telling her stop with a sob story, but you sitting up here proving her point that you wasn't gonna get her kids. She had to put it in writing, slap you in the face with a confirmation, get a blowhorn, say it on the radio, social media, TV, and on a billboard, and specify, hey, we're homeless. You need to get your children before you would have got up and did anything. And I'm annoyed because, again, look at his picture and look at hers. You could tell this woman was stressed out. Look at him. He fresh. Once I get everything together for the live next week, you'll see how fresh he was. And I'm not just talking about that news clipping that's going around. His braids is freshly twisted. He got on new clothes and shit. And the mama stressed out. You couldn't help with them kids. This is why I said I wish that they would change the laws to where the minute you don't want to be there for your children, whether you the custodial parent or the non-custodial parent or whatever, they need to hold you, they need to press charges. They need to hold you for child neglect or whatever. Non-custodials, I know people are like, why can't this hold the non-custodials accountable for child neglect? They don't have custody, but okay, this is why you hold them accountable, because these children with the custodial parents, when the non-custodial is not doing what they're supposed to do, the rest of us, we pay for it. We got to pay for the food stamps, the housing, all this stuff. So that's why I feel like when they walk away or whatever, they should immediately get hit with a neglect charge, because everybody got to pay for your mistake because you didn't want to keep it in your pants. You know what I'm saying? That's what annoys me about a lot of these guys. Y'all only screwing these women to bust one. You only want to bust a nut. And then once you get that nut or whatever, and she come back pregnant, you don't know nothing. You don't want to be held accountable for nothing. And it further annoys me because some of these black men out here is advocating more for this faulty father who's going to make all of them look bad versus those children. They're more so advocating for him. They don't care that his kids is dead. They don't care that he basically was not trying to take accountability of his part in the situation. They don't care about none of that. They basically trying to make this man out to be a victim. Oh, he had a job. Y'all don't know how many jobs I have walked off of because I had an emergency at the schoolhouse with my child, and I had to leave the job to go see what was up with my child. So him having a job, it sounds like when they say, "Oh, he had a job and other things to do," it sounds like y'all putting his needs before his children, and that's the whole problem in the situation. Okay, he don't come first. His kids are supposed to come first. Then not only that, but he is not no victim. Okay, he's not. If she got to be held accountable as the mother, he does as well. He is not a victim just because he moved on with his life and got him a girlfriend. And I've been seeing people drag the girlfriend through the comments. I'm not going to talk about her because the girlfriend is a big woman and she's dark skinned. People been dragging her. I'm not going to drag her because I feel like, in my opinion, dark skinned women and big women already have it hard, and that's not a reason to drag her. We don't know her part in this situation, so we should just focus on what we know right now, right? But yeah, he's not no victim to me, y'all. So again, I do have some things about him. I got some receipts. I got some people that I'm trying to talk to get more information about this case. Um, cause I hold on, y'all. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, but I have some receipts that I'm working on. I have some things that I'm investigating about this case. I have some people I'm trying to get a hold of who are allegedly kin to the father. But I just want to let y'all know, because this case ain't even super viral yet. Y'all done ran this man off the internet. Okay, I ended up finding his Facebook page a day late and a dollar short. This man was run off the internet. Okay. Um, we don't need to be going with accusation. I hate when the public does that. That's the only thing that I hate about the public. Y'all go off of accusations, y'all go off of allegations. Until we get the truth, y'all have to stop badgering people. You know, he did make himself look like shit in that interview, saying what he said. You know what I'm saying? He really did. Came out cold and heartless or whatever. He did, but we have to like let things simmer down so we can get to the facts of the matter in these situations. You know, this is why I said the only side I'm on right now is the side of the children. You know, until the facts come out. All right, I'm on the side of the children. All right, so again, y'all have a blessed evening. Once I get all, because I got some receipts, but once I get them all together, I'm gonna blow this thing wide open. I have been investigating. Oh, and rest in peace to the little 2-year old from the case I covered almost 2 weeks ago. I believe they had her funeral. um the Gardner baby from Indianapolis who was left neglected in that apartment. May she rest in peace. But I did have I did find out that her they had her funeral. So I'm finna get off of here. Y'all be blessed. Y'all look forward for my live next week to where I'm more put together. Right now, I feel like I'm everywhere. Because again, this case was everywhere. This case was everywhere, so I'm everywhere. All right. But y'all be blessed. I'm gonna get off of here. I'm gonna keep y'all updated as I go here.